Oh, when I fell for Rolex, I fell hard. This particular purchase was literally hours before we got locked down. I remember seeing Oisin from the Timeless Watch channel running around Italy, ground zero for the big C here in Europe. Absolute madness what was going on in the world at the time. Rumors of tanks cruising through London, threats of martial law. People were sure Armageddon was to follow. And in the middle of all this, I'm shopping for Rolex. I won 2 Rolex auctions that day. A 16710 GMT Master 2. Ultimately, the guy pulled out and refused to sell it at the price that the auction closed at. I think it was around £7,000. The other Rolex was this 16613 two-tone Bluesy Submariner. Shout out to Success Leaves Clues crew. Big love and mad respect for honoring the deal. We met up in Bedford just hours before lockdown, and this was my 3rd Rolex purchase, so I didn't have a lot of experience buying them. But I felt that I had done enough research to take the chance, so I had to do my due diligence on the road with my little loupe with the built-in light, checking all the engravings of the model numbers and the serial number on the case. Satisfied that they looked good, I moved on to the bracelet, making sure the bracelet was correct for the watch. Being that it was a 1991 Submariner, it had to have hollow end links and the correct end link stamp. Also, there's some codes on the clasp that you got to look for. They indicate the production year, and that has to match the production year of the watch head. It's really important to do your due diligence to protect your investment. These things aren't cheap. And I always say, trust, but verify. And where it was such a good price, it was important to be extra diligent. And because it's a Submariner, it should also have the diver extension that opens up the bracelet if you're crazy enough to put it on a wetsuit. Now, this particular bracelet clearly had some stretch, but I wasn't too concerned about that. It is to be expected. After all, the watch is over 30 years old. So there are lots of resources online for checking your Rolex's details, but for me, by far the best place online for serial number and production year and class stamp and production year information is Bob's Watches website. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can have that as a resource. So moving on to checking the dial. It should be a super high quality, an embossed print with crisp edges, and you should see all this while looking through the loupe. This particular dial is absolutely mesmerizing the way it drastically goes from blue to purple and sometimes holds on to both colors in one moment. I really seem to be gravitating to the Tritium dials with the smaller hour markers that have gone that creamy, wonderful color that you only get with age. The sapphire glass is in pretty good shape, no chips on the edges to be seen, and the laser etched Rolex logo is there. It should be very hard to see, but it seems on these sunburst styles that they are slightly easier to see. And it's also important to make sure that the magnification above the date wheel is about 2.5x. You also want to check that the date wheel has the right font for that year. Doing a deep dive into the model you're looking for is a good idea before going shopping. This one in particular has the serif hooks on the numbers of the date wheel. It looks so cool. And even the date wheel has that lovely creamy patina. The 3 bumps on the crown signify that it is a triple lock screw down crown, and the small, large, small dot format can be found on a lot of 16613 Submariners, but not all of them. And also newer 116613 and 126613 subs also share this format. There seems to be some discrepancy on the chart that is being referenced to describe what the dots mean. Mostly the charts seem correct, except that some subs have the 3 small dots and some have the small, large, small format for the dots. Here you can see a couple of examples of Submariners like this online. And you can also see from Rolex's Instagram page that the Sea Dweller two-tone also has the small, large, small format. So the chart everyone is referencing is not exactly correct. This neo vintage Submariner has got so much class and charm, and up until recently has been one of the cheapest Submariners you can buy. It's now February 2023, and finally it seems to be outstepping its stainless steel brother, the 16610, now the cheapest of all the Submariner models. And they're now going for around 7,000 to 7,500 pounds. And just as a side note, the Tudor Submariner 79190 are at the same price point. I just thought that was interesting. And now the cheapest 16613 two-tone version you can get on the market is around £8,500. Another fantastic thing to appreciate from the Bluesy is its versatility with leather. It is an absolute strap monster. Here are a few examples of some straps that I've explored with it. This one-piece racing bun strap, which doesn't really make sense for a dive watch, but somehow looks incredible. And between this and the blue alligator, I really can't decide which is my favorite. I also explored some of Bark & Jack's products. The Whiskey Cordovan is an amazing texture and well worth the price. The black leather was pretty cool, and you just can't forget about the Burgundy Cordovan. Just wow. The video really doesn't do it justice, but highly recommend it. So I saw someone on YouTube baking Rolex GMT bezels in the oven. Sounds crazy, right? He had some real wild results. And I thought, that looks like fun. I want to give it a try. So I sourced another bezel for my 16613 Bluesy on eBay. And when it arrived, I got started. I heated up the oven to over 200 degrees and I popped the bezel on a baking tray. I was checking it every 20 minutes or so just to make sure I wasn't overdoing it. Turns out the bezel is very stubborn. It wasn't doing anything. And so I just cranked the oven up as hot as it could go, and what seemed like 4 hours later, it started to change colors. It finished with this deep purple color. Not a major change, but it was exactly what I was looking for. Just as I had hoped, at least to me anyway, the purple looked even better than the electric blue that was on the original bezel. Here it is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Well, that's it, Watch Fam. That's all I have for you on this one. Ola M out.